up, everybody? I'm Sal Kalani. This is Reggie Steele. And welcome to Spitballin. Spitballin.
What's up, everybody? I'm Sal Kalani. This is Reginald Steele.
And welcome to Spitballin.
Reginald Hughes Steele.
No,
I never say
you gonna throw my whole government name out there?
Your government name, am I paying
throw my whole
taxes?
government out there? No. Hey man, I realized before we get into it, I've been listening to NPR. I used to listen to NPR all the time, and I loved it. I loved it. It was a great space to find, art, music, entertainment, news, politics, world news, local news, the whole thing. Loved it. And the guy that I used to listen to, Michael Krasny, he left or he retired. He used to do Forum. And they got this new guy named Alexis Madrigal, right? And I realized I don't like his voice. I don't. And I love NPR, but I find myself trying to listen to it. And when he comes on and does his thing, his voice annoys the hell out of me.
That's important, dude.
Dude, it's so important. But I realize it's the inflection that he puts on different words, right? Like it's the tone or the way he says things, right? Like in the morning he'll come on and he sounds like he's like this morning we're going to talk to some of San Francisco's finest chefs. Like there's just a way he does it.
Yeah, it's the way he pauses.
Yeah, it's like and even his questions aren't very good, right? Like Michael Krasny used to ask some really great questions.
What's this guy's name?
Alexis Madrigal.
Okay.
Alexis.
That's a guy?
Madrigal.
Name Alexis?
Yeah, Alexis Madrigal. And I
dated
just don't.
Alexis.
Yeah, that's funny.
It wasn't a guy.
It wasn't a guy. Well, San Francisco, you never know. Could have been born one. Transition, whole thing. You never know.
If only they would have got that voice fixed.
Okay. Yeah, really. Actually, that happened to a friend of mine recently. He was going to the store, and this lady was kind of making eyes at him, like looking at him, like, "Hey, what's up?" And he was like, "Hi," right? And he wasn't trying to create anything, but he's just like, "Okay, well, she's saying hi, so I'm gonna say hi," and he says hi back, and then within a short period of time, he realized, oh, she's working, right? Like she's not just saying hi because she thinks that I'm handsome or whatever. She's saying hi because she's working, like she's trying to create some business. And and he says hi or whatever. And then she goes, hi. He was like, oh. He was like, oh, wait, what just happened? And it was a situation where, it looked like a duck, it quacked it looked like a duck, and it walked like a duck, but it did not quack like a duck.
Careful, Reg. Careful, you.
Yeah, I'm treading lightly. I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm gonna say this, and I noticed this in LA, and I don't know if this is offensive, but you could always tell the trans prostitutes because I'm talking from a distance.
Oh, from a distance.
Because they dress way sluttier than most women would. You know what I mean? Like, God damn, that woman wearing damn near nothing. And you go by and like, it's like it's almost like you're new to the game and you're like, I'm just gonna show what I got. And you're like,
putting it all out there. Putting it all out there. Right.
And it seems, and then you definitely notice that.
Well, I mean, I don't
know.
I think there's a couple things. One, you can always tell by the size of the hands, for one. Like,
you can't change that.
Yeah, you can't change that. And most men have really veiny hands and arms, whatever. Yeah. And the feet, the size of the feet, right? Because you can't change the size.
Unless it's a smaller person, then it doesn't really.
Yeah, and then it doesn't really matter. You can't really, I mean, look, man, one time, Oh, I'll tell this story one time because he's, God rest his soul. But AJ and I used to go to this nightclub that was at AJSF, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
AJSF, right? AJSF was and it's closed now, unfortunately, but it was a restaurant, an Asian fusion restaurant, and the waitresses were trans, right? And they would do a whole show, and it was a whole thing. It was a whole performance type of deal. But then after the restaurant closed, they had a whole area that they opened downstairs that became a nightclub that was just, a straight open to everybody nightclub. Well, one time we were waiting in line to get in for the nightclub because when you walk through the door, there's a door that goes into like one door, but if you go straight, it goes into the restaurant, and if you go to the left, it goes downstairs to the club. So we're standing in line, and the restaurant is closing, so all the women are getting off work, and hey man, look, they've done a lot of work. They put a lot of time and effort into their appearances, right? They've got the implants, they got the hair, they've got the nails, the
Are they all
makeup.
Asian too?
Not all Asian. Most of them were either Asian or Latin with
Mm.
an occasional white girl, right? Like Natasha
Mm-hmm.
Muse. Remember, Natasha Muse used to
Mm-hmm.
work there, right? The
Oh,
comedian
word.
in the Bay. Yeah, she used to work there. And so they're coming out and they're dressed to the nines, looking good or whatever. And AJ is like, he hits me up. He's like, "Hey, Rich," hey, right? And I go, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know that the restaurant is like that. Like he doesn't know that that's the
Right.
thing at the restaurant, and that's their specific thing, right? And I go, AJ, you know, she's trans, and he's like, wait, what? And I go, yeah, she was born a man, but she's transitioning or whatever. And he's like, no, no, right? And I
He
go,
didn't
and
believe the
and at
comedian.
this point, this particular woman that he was looking at, like because he was just looking at face and chest, right? He was just looking here, and you can't really
They
tell that
did
you're
a
just
good job
glancing.
at that part.
They do a really good job, and we're literally getting ready to go into a nightclub where
Right.
people are dressing like right, and so I said, well, and in this situation, and I'm not trying to be offensive, but in this situation, the forearms and the hands look like mine, right? And so I said, AJ, look at her hands, right? And he was like, oh, and that he was like, okay. And then, and he wasn't homophobic or anything, but it definitely was one of those moments where it's like, wait, what just happened? My brain was confused, right? Like
Right. I mean, the way I look at it, it's like if you want to do, you do whatever the hell you want. People shouldn't hate on people for whatever. But
yeah, I
it
don't
doesn't
care.
necessarily, everyone's attracted to their own thing. You know what I mean? And so if
Right.
your mind thinking that, you're going one way and then it's not what you're usually attracted to, you know what I mean?
Well, no, but this is the other thing. And I agree with you. Hey, look, do whatever you want. Be with whoever you want. Love whoever you want. Because we all gonna end up as dust one day. We all gonna die
Right.
and end up as dust. It don't matter, really. Just be happy. Be happy. Be yourself. Find whoever you love. Be with whoever you want to be with. Be who you want to be. Just don't hurt nobody, right? But you got to think about it from the standpoint of if you're a male, I mean, not a male, but as a male and a man, if you're attracted to women and you see someone with makeup, long hair, lipsticks, boobs, dress, high heels, right? Like all the indicators are saying that this is a woman. So that's what you see. That's what you're taking in as your first initial observation, right? And it's not until you get into the details of like, oh, the voice is different, right? Like I was saying with
Hmm.
my buddy, same thing for him. All he saw was a woman, and then all of a sudden that woman goes, "Hi," and he goes, "Oh,
Hmm.
all right." Now that's where it's different because for him, all he saw was a woman standing outside,
Hmm.
shooting him a glance, which has happened a million times with other women, and when he said hi, they didn't say hi, right? They were
Yeah.
like hi, right? So I get it, right? It's not even so much that it's not what you're attracted to or what you're not attracted to. It's like initially, same thing with women. If they see a woman
You're
or
surprised.
you just it's like, oh, okay, well, that's the thing that's different, right? Like
Right.
if you like lasagna, but you like regular lasagna with cheese in it, and all of a sudden and it looks like lasagna, and all of a sudden you take a bite and you go, yo, there's no cheese in this lasagna. It's like, oh man, this looked like lasagna. I thought this was lasagna. Now it's different lasagna. I like the lasagna with cheese. And then for me, I don't like cheese. So I go, yo, I like the lasagna without cheese. Right.
Reggie Steele,
So,
ladies and gentlemen, breaking down the trans movement to pasta. so an Italian can
I'm just
understand.
yeah, and it's and which like you said, man, personal preferences, like who you like, love who you love, be
All
with
right, here
whoever
we
you
go,
want to be
Reg.
with. Yeah, do your thing. So
New show alert. Is that
oh,
can you hear that?
I cannot hear that.
I guess that didn't work. How about that? That might work.
Oh, but hold
New
up though.
show alert,
Hold up
Reg.
though. Hold up though. Hold up though. This whole thing initially started off because I said I didn't like Alexis Madrical's voice.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And then
But this got me to a trance. So there's a new show that
Okay.
kind of touches on this.
Okay.
And you got to see it. It's all the talk of the town right now. I've only watched 3 episodes, but episode 3 is where you could tell people like, oh, I got to tell people about this show.
Okay.
Okay, it's on Netflix called Baby Reindeer. Have you heard?
I have not.
Reggie's out of the loop. That's all right. It just dropped. Okay.
Okay.
But it's a true based off a true story
Okay.
of a comedian from England, from London, who
Okay.
ends up having a stalker. And this woman, and he has old tapes, I guess. People were telling me
Is she
of
the
his
heavyset woman?
stand-up.
The
Yeah.
heavyset one? Okay, I'm looking at the preview now. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and he has I guess there's actual like his stand-up sets where you could hear her laughing in the background.
Oh,
of
wait.
his
So this is
shows.
based on a real story.
Yeah.
It's based
So
on a
she
true
would
story.
go to his show. Yeah. And so she would go to his shows and stuff. But also in this, and I don't know what part is written for the show, but anyway, he's on a trans dating site and he's interested in dating a trans woman. There is a trans woman he's dating at one point. And then the last episode we saw, the stalker encounters this woman. But he also you get that whole thing of like he's a little nervous about even dating someone who's trans because of the backdraft he would catch from people. You know what I mean? The crap you might catch from peers or coworkers or whatever. So that's interesting. But the yeah, dude, the stalker stuff is it's crazy. And the woman would refer to him as his little baby reindeer. And that's how the name of the show came about. But yeah, dude, you gotta watch it. And as a comic and just as a performer, it is definitely very interesting. And so
Okay.
far, and this woman who plays the stalker, amazing. So like you see her range, and after episode 3, seen all the range, man. And
Really?
she's very good. And I'm curious of where it goes. So
Where
far so good.
it's from the UK or from England?
Yeah, he's from England. It's on Netflix.
But was it filmed there? Like it looks like looking at the preview.
Yeah, it's London. I think it's in
London.
London.
Okay, yeah. I have to admit, I love the London feel of shows because it's not very. They always have it almost feels like they're filming through a darker film frame or something to some degree, right? Like, not always, but I put like this in the States. I feel like everything is really polished and shiny, right? Whereas in Europe or maybe London or England, wherever, if there is it can maybe it's just the weather. Maybe it's a little overcast. It's just a
Very
little
gray,
darker.
which is good for filming, they say.
Yeah, it's kind of a gray feel. So it creates a little more drama, right? A little more tension. And they're a little grittier. They're a little grittier.
Yeah.
And the people, and this is the other one, and the people aren't as polished. Like when you look
That's what it's funny you say that because that's one of the first things I said. I
Yeah.
love about shows in England that people could just be normal looking people.
looking people.
Yeah, and I'm so like LA, it's not. It's all about
LA,
everyone has to look
they're
perfect.
trying to find the most beautiful, the most
And
perfect.
that's why Reggie and I don't act anymore.
I mean, we can always go back, right?
I
think
I can play the troll under the bridge.
I think I can play in both countries, right? Like I'm not polished enough to be a star in Hollywood.
I mean, you're more polished than me, but
but
not by much though.
And not but just I mean, if it's like this much, then it's like
you got diversity on your side. You diversify a show.
That was Sal's covert way of saying I'm black.
It's kind of good because he's black. You can get all the acting.
Yeah, you know how much Hollywood loves those black guys, all those starring black guys, Will Smith, Denzel Washington, Mahershala Ali, Idris Elba ain't even from here. So I guess
yeah, he's good though.
Yeah, we got those 3 guys. We got our 3 spots and everyone's waiting in line to get an opportunity. because there's so much opportunity for large black men in Hollywood, right?
I'm just saying you could diversify.
I can
Um,
diversify, right?
but
But no, you were, but in
yeah,
England,
you're right.
they
It's normal
have
looking people.
they have
Fucked
normal
up
looking
teeth.
people, messed up teeth, normal looking people, but phenomenal actors.
Now,
I
America
mean,
used to be like that. If you watch movies from like the 70s and shit, that was always funny. You're like, oh, how'd this guy get cast?
yeah. I was watching
A
was
lot
it
of bald
Cas-
dudes.
yeah. I was watching Casablanca, and Humphrey Bogart, I don't think he's very handsome. He's not, yeah, I think he's just an okay looking guy. Right.
I never
But
saw it.
yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's not great. I mean, it's a classic because it's
That's
been
the one
around for
Hattie
a long time.
McDaniel won the Oscar, right?
No, that's Gone with the Wind.
Oh, that's Gone with the Wind.
I watched that too. Gone with the Wind. Yo, that joint is crazy. This is
It's
like
like
some
3.5 hours or something.
yo, it's good, man. It's crazy. It is 3.5 hours. It's based in the antebellum South, and Hattie McDaniels plays she's a maid, and this is the Confederate, like it's almost like, not almost like, but it's during the Civil War, and it's not about the war per se, but it's about the socialites and the world that they lived in during the war, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
then, there was some peripheral war stuff where soldiers would come home and then they had to be taken care of, but it was definitely from the South perspective of like, them being socialites and these elite people and trying to be like, they kind of paint them in a light of like, oh, we're civilized society, but
Right.
we're also fighting a war to maintain slavery, and
Right.
we
Yeah.
have black
Yeah.
people that work
Hypocrites.
for us. So it could be some propaganda shit for
That's
you.
tough.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me though, that
Oh,
I
hold on, one
mean,
more thing. Hattie McDaniels won the Oscar and couldn't even go in to receive it.
is
She
that
was
I was just
allowed.
gonna say,
Yeah.
like Hattie McDaniel must have been so good that in 1939 this film comes out, and 25 years before civil rights, and she gets the Oscar. And then
Mhm.
another black person doesn't win it for what, 60 years, 50 years?
Yeah.
Until, and
Or
well,
didn't
Sidney
she?
Poitier won, but I mean another woman didn't win to Halle Berry.
Right. And I think, didn't Hattie McDaniels, did she win two? Or did it just the
No, I
one?
think that's the only one. She won in 1939 for Gone with the Wind. And then I don't think it happened again until Guess Who's Coming to Dinner by Sidney Poitier,
Right.
1969, I
And
believe.
he got he won
Actor.
best actor. What's crazy about the Hattie McDaniels joint is, like you just said, 1939. She put on such a great performance that they were like, damn, all right, we got to give this to her. Like,
Yeah, that's so crazy. 39?
at 39, they're like, we got to give it to her, and we're gonna recognize that she did a good job, but she can't come in. Like, she can't
Yeah.
be here with us in this place. So they recorded her acceptance at a different location. And
That's
then,
so ridiculous that they would still.
man,
I mean,
like they
that's like
could,
when Jesse Owens got the gold medal and then he had to go through the back entrance and shit for stuff.
yep, yep,
It's just like the fuck. I just
yep.
won for the country.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
recognizing the talent and recognizing how good they are. It's the same thing with, and we were talking about slavery, might as well keep it going. It's the same thing with the slave masters who want to look at the people or their slaves as cattle, and then all of a sudden they start looking at the young girls differently and like, oh well, I mean, they ain't quite livestock, but I don't want nobody to know. So I'm gonna do a thing, and then we're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it's a fucked up mentality, bro. I know I
yep,
just went
yep,
real
yep.
deep on that shit, but yeah, man. Um, but yeah, I like London and England. I like the UK. I like their films because they will go with some gritty looking images, and the stories don't always end with on a positive note and everyone wins. Yo, man, there have been plenty of European movies that I have seen where it's like you see a guy who's born, his life is hard, he becomes an adult, his life is hard, he becomes an older person, his life is hard, and then he dies. And you go, what
Right,
the
right,
fuck did I just witness? Right? Like,
right.
there was never a point where anything worked out for this dude. He never found the love of his life. He never got the job that he wanted. He never had any really close friends. It was just like there was an existence of a person that had a miserable life from beginning to end with a sliver where you see almost where the sun is about to come through. And right
Right.
when it does, someone closes the shutters and he doesn't even get that light. And then he fucking dies. And you go, but that's the reality
Have
because that's
you
what happens to a lot of people.
did you watch Ali Wong's show Beef?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
You watched it all?
Yep.
Did we talk about it on here or no?
I don't
Maybe
think
not.
so. Maybe not. I feel like
I liked it, man. I thought it was good. The last episode though, man, and spoiler alerts, people.
out
So
there in
like
the out
it's
there in
been
the
out for a
woods.
while. But
he
yeah,
won a he won an Emmy for it.
I think yeah, that all could have happened, but I was hoping and I think that's kind of right, suggest that they were both dead. So they were just like, if they were dead that whole time in that last episode, so they were just imagining this whole other thing, but in reality, they never make it out.
Oh, so you didn't want them to make it out. You wanted them
No,
to.
because that was kind of like what you're saying. It's like, oh, let's make a little quick happy button at the end to try and
Mhm.
make it work. And what really bothered me, what made it feel out of place, is her ex-husband leaves. We're done. You cheated on me. But then all of a sudden he shows up looking for her at the last second there. So she, you know what I mean? That all felt out of place. Where I'd rather that both of them just be dead. And
Well,
then they just said there's another season and it's not going to include Allie and this other guy. It's going to be like different characters, So I'm like, well, then you totally could have killed them off.
yeah, yeah. I mean, okay, let me see. First, I'll address the husband looking for her. I mean, yeah, he's mad at her, but they got a kid together. He still cares about her,
Yeah,
right?
but the way they left it and then for him to come out of nowhere and it just seems so
Well,
forced.
I think that's the American style of wanting to put a bow on it because truly
Right. And
based
that's where
on
I think it could have stopped.
right, like truly based on beef, like and especially this level of beef where they were going back and forth with each other. Now, someone did die. There's no question about it. Like their beef led to someone dying. Remember the door, the lady at the
Oh, right. Well,
house, right?
that was so crazy.
That was crazy. But honestly, it was one of those things where they created this scenario because of their inability to handle their stress, right?
Mhm.
They created a toxic environment, toxic world where other people outside of them got hurt. They got hurt a little bit, but they didn't pay the ultimate price for their misgivings, right?
Right.
For their inability to communicate effectively or to just let it go, right? I'm with you. I think one of them probably should have died because they
Yeah,
were
I thought it would have been cool if both of them, because then no matter whatever their thing, none of it matters in the end.
if they both would have died. Okay, so here's the difference. Here's the comparison. If one of them dies, it's Tupac being killed and Biggie living, right? Or is Biggie
You
dying and
got
Tupac
crazy
living?
analogies today, Reg. Trans and lasagna, and now Ali Wong and Tupac.
Well, no, I'm just saying the idea of the beef of a big beef that
Oh,
leads
I
to
see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
outsiders getting involved and people being hurt, and then the two people who are at the center of this
Right.
beef,
And then
right?
it took both of those people to die for us in the world to realize it was silly, the
Exactly.
West Coast, East Coast.
Yes, exactly. So maybe in this show beef, maybe they both should die, like you said, right? Or is it more impactful if one of them dies and then the other one is held accountable for it, and then they get to I guess realize the error of their ways, right? Because it's one thing if like, well, I'm escalated, you're escalated, I'm escalated, you're escalated, and then it ends up in me killing you or you killing me, and then I have to sit in prison for the rest of my life and think about all of this happened because I wasn't looking back when I backed out of a
Right.
place or somebody blew
Right.
their horn at me, right? And now someone's dead and my life is over. So I think it's more meaningful if one of them dies and the other person has to live with that. That's more impactful.
I mean, I would have liked them both to die, but no one died, so that was that. um,
Well, I do like
it-
the idea that it's coming back, but I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it because when I watched it, it made me uncomfortable in the sense of like I kept wanting them to just get over it, right? I'm like, yo, just let
right.
it go.
I mean, they had to escalate.
Yeah, and also what it really came down to was that, and the truth of the matter is that usually in whatever situation someone's getting so angry about something or acting out so aggressively or so harshly, 9 times out of 10, 9.5, 99.9% of the time, it's not about that incident. It's about whatever else is going in your life, the
Right,
stress,
right.
relationship, parenting, career, family, friends. It's always about something else. In this situation, it was about everything else outside of them. And then that moment happens, and it's like, all right, well, this is it. Bam, bam, fuck
Right.
yeah.
I need this win.
Right. So
hey, you see this hoodie, Reg?
I do. There's
You
not
know
much
what
to
this
it, just a
is?
black hoodie.
It's my Vince hoodie.
You got one.
Yeah, baby. Yeah,
Nice.
baby. I got it on sale too. I got a good deal. Got it online, brand new. It was like
Okay.
$50.
Dude,
Not
I got
bad.
one of those.
Yeah, that's what made me get it. So I wanted to get something for on stage, and it
Okay.
fits well. Problem is, I only did it once. I wore it when we did Ohio, did Cincinnati, and in what was it, March? Or I think it was March, but it was too cold still. And these motherfuckers are
Oh,
too thin for that
they're
kind of shit.
thin.
And I was like, I
Yeah.
chose style over comfort.
No,
Crazy.
you got-
Like it's fine in there, but when you're traveling, hell no.
Hell no, you got to go with function over fashion, right?
Yeah. So
Most
I
women go
learned. So
fashion over
I'll break
function.
it out again in the summer. But I was just in Jersey and I wore a warm hoodie. I'm like, I'm bringing the warmest one I got.
Okay, there you go. Well,
Because
dude,
they'll
I'm so
have
happy.
moments where it's warm and then it just,
Yeah, dude, this is funny because I almost wore my Vince hoodie today. My gray one, like
Is
that. The
your
pullover.
what color is yours?
Mine is gray. Remember, mine is like that
Oh,
gunmetal, that dark gray.
Yeah. Metallic, yeah.
But it fits, right? Like it hangs
Yeah,
on
it's a
your
nice
body.
fit. Yeah.
Nice. And this is what I'm talking about like the difference between buying some bullshit or buying
Right.
something that's quality. Like that's really the
Right.
difference. You can
I
tell the
will say
difference.
this. I did buy a hoodie as a zip up hoodie. It is green, but I bought it just because it was literally $7, brand new from
Okay.
H&M. And
Okay.
it's great. You
Oh,
know what I
good.
mean? It's a little
Yeah.
big, but it's it's not a form fitting, but for what I want, it's
Yeah.
fucking warm.
All right. Well, let's see how it holds up after you wash it. Don't dry it.
I
After you
don't
wash
wash it. I ain't gonna wash that. Yeah, maybe I'll wash it. We'll see.
It's like,
I
I'm not
try
gonna
not
wash
to.
it. You think I want it to disintegrate in the wash?
Yeah, no. It's a jacket one though. So
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
So I went to Jersey, Reg. We'll talk about
Nice.
it.
I wish
Anthony
I known. I could
POORdain
have told my
back.
peoples to come out to see you, man.
Well, it's on the website. You should have told him, Reg. It was
I
there right
should've.
next to Rutgers. It was in New Brunswick, so it's about an hour
Oh
of
man,
the
I could
city,
have sent my
south of the
boy out
city.
there. But go ahead.
Cold blooded, Reg.
I
You
know.
cold blooded. All right,
Cold-blooded.
Reg. I'll tell you, man. Jersey, they like Philly, bro. People like to chat, and there's not. And when they don't police the room, the chatting don't stop.
Oh, they like to chat during the show.
I'm gonna say this, and I texted Molly. Ben, she wished me happy birthday, and Reggie wished me happy birthday. Thanks, Reg.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're my
And
guy.
again, I told her like, "Yo, man, the professionalism. We came up in a very professional place. There were moments when I was on stage, the late shows, especially. I'm on stage, and you're trying to work a bit in the yard, and you're just hearing the constant. And I literally thought San Francisco Punchline wouldn't put up with this at all.
Exactly. Oh, you're like, what's going on in the
I was
rest
like,
of the
hey, nip
world?
that shit in the butt right now.
I mean, security would have walked over, tapped somebody. Hey, you gotta have to.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna have to get out of
Yo,
here.
that shit
Right.
got, yeah. And it's funny, man. You see all the clubs, everyone runs things different. But so what's coming to this country, man? I'm telling people, and I was telling people the other night, trivia, I'm like, this Trump shit, man, these motherfuckers, they're not going away. All right.
They're not going
And
away. They're not going quietly, right?
it ain't no guarantee and nothing. And so this woman, and it's funny, it was the last show of the weekend. I have literally, folks, one fucking Trump joke. Okay. Oh, shout out to my man Joe Valentine. He drove from Cleveland to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to come see me perform.
Wow.
Stayed
Shout out.
stayed a night over. Met him and his lady. Really great. He
Shout out
listens
to you,
the
boy, for that.
podcast.
That's
And I will
cool.
say this: when I was he was at the first show Saturday, and sometimes first show Saturday is a little more conservative, like not chatty, but a little more conservative. The first
Yeah,
ones to
it can
buy the
be, yeah.
tickets.
Right.
And I would do some stuff if I talk about abortion or anything and immigrants, and like I'd hear Joe laughing. No matter what, he was on board. So that was always a great feeling. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. You're like, thank you for the support, Joe. That's when you
yeah.
say, thank you for the support. I got your check. Your
Yeah.
check is in the mail. Right.
So So I do the one joke. I talk about Trump supporters, comparing them to lettuce. Okay, they're big white iceberg lettuce. They're big white and tasteless, right? So so that's basically the joke. This
Right.
woman who kind of looked like an escort, people were saying, uh, I guess the second show, someone messaged me on Instagram and was like, "Yo, you were great. There were these people next to us. She tried to fuck with your camera. I hope you post it and stuff." And so then I go look, and it was after right after the Trump stuff. Um, the woman walks up to the camera, and you can't see it because it's all black, and so you can't see it. You just see a shadowy
Okay.
figure come up, and she's like, "This guy sucks," and then walks off.
Oh,
And then the thing's all
jeez.
blurry and out of focus, right? She fucked with
Okay.
the camera. And then it finally gives back. And I'm just like, you're gonna go fuck with my shit just because of one, and you can not like any of it. But like it's just this like he's infected the country now where
Mhm.
people could just feel they could say whatever they want to anything. And it's truly disgusting.
People feel emboldened, right? That's what
Yeah,
that's been his whole thing from the beginning is that um people feel they feel more powerful and more emboldened to say, I don't know, rude, mean, hateful, disrespectful,
right,
hurtful,
right.
um inconsiderate, inappropriate, right? With
All
this
right, here. So
idea of
here,
like,
let's keep
we
it
could
going.
say, yeah, keep it going.
Here's what my mom shared
Oh
on
boy.
Facebook yesterday,
Oh
and
boy.
I had to leave a comment. And I love that her sister liked my comment.
Okay.
But it's a meme of Joe Biden, and
Oh, she
it
shared this
says
meme.
she shared this meme, and it's just
Okay.
Biden. And it says next to him, here is a president who entices people to break the laws of our country and illegally cross our borders, yet ignores the needs of the American citizens. Here's a president who violates his oath to uphold the Constitution. He's a perfect example of someone who should be impeached.
Oh my God.
And then I left a comment of, Mom, this is crazy talk. Trump has been actually impeached twice, and he won't uphold the Constitution. He tried to steal an election he lost, then incited an insurrection. Un-American liar should be in jail. And
Nice.
it's just like they'll just look the other way. And this whole thing is just racist. It's just like, oh, enticing people to break laws. What does that mean? And then, oh, come please illegally cross our borders. It's just a shot at fucking immigrants.
Right.
And the whole thing the right wing's trying to do now is make immigrants the big rallying call. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, and this is the question I have for all those people who have an issue with immigrants. How how has their presence directly affected you? I'd
Right.
ask
And
your
it
mom
hasn't,
that, right?
yeah, it
Yeah, I'd
hasn't.
ask your
It's
mom
just,
that.
it's just what
Like,
Fox tells her.
yeah, exactly. Like, I want to ask her, you should ask her. So, mom, okay, so you got an issue with immigrants. So, what have they done to directly affect you in your life? What have
Right.
they done? Aside from picking the fruit that you buy for, $2.59 a pound, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
aside
It's
from taking care
ridiculous,
of
dude.
people's
Yeah,
children, cutting their
it's
grass, painting
ridiculous.
their houses for nothing, working in the system where they're getting paid under the table, or they're getting paid and they got fake social security numbers, so they're putting money into a system that everyone's going to be using that they can't use, right? Like,
Right.
how have they directly affected your life?
Right. Now,
That's
if
the
you could
question.
say, oh, you married an immigrant and he was an asshole sometimes, okay, then you have that argument.
Yeah, but
But
then you can say you can marry. There are plenty of people who've married Americans that were assholes,
yeah, yeah.
and
And it
it
doesn't matter. It's like
doesn't matter.
this is ridiculous, dude.
You're gonna say, well, what
It's
about the
absurd.
crime? What about the crime? I go, half look, immigrants or migrants, they don't commit nearly as much crime as Americans, right?
No,
Yeah, exactly.
it's
So,
just they just need a scapegoat, man. And you fuel that, and Trump taps into that racist vein and gets people's blood boiling. And
oh,
now
dude,
this bullshit. So anyway, it's no guarantee come November, bro. It's gonna be a battle. And as shows go on, people are gonna get more and more emboldened in these places, and
oh
it's gonna
no,
get
that's why. Okay,
crazy.
okay. So this is the thing. So the right, they're all in on this dude, right? They now, first off, before I even get into that, based on sheer numbers alone, they can't compete with the left or with the people who aren't the right. There are enough people who are not the right that could win every election easily if we stay together and work together. The problem is that the right, they're all in on this dude. So even with lower numbers, they're only going to cast their vote for one guy.
Right.
It's us on the other side, but we have the most numbers. We have the majority of the numbers. That's why they have to work so hard to try to get us to fracture us. Is that
And then the
and
fractures
then
are beginning with the Gaza war, and then the young people are going to be pissed. But I'm like, look, you guys, yeah, Biden could do more. It's not like he's over there fucking in Israel doing it. But yeah,
right.
they're sending them money and protection and support. However, you think Trump's going to help you guys on that side? No.
Exactly. Isn't he the one that
So what are
moved
we
the
fixing?
embassy
You know what I
from?
mean?
Yeah, he's the one that moved the embassy from wherever it was into Jerusalem or into Israel.
Right.
So I had a guy say that to me. He's like, I'm not gonna support some genocidal president who supports this
Not
and the
being
other.
genocidal. Take
And
the
I
shit
go,
out of the Israeli leader.
exactly. And I go, well, so what's your alternative? You're gonna support another genocidal president who's also racist?
Right.
I'm
Or
like,
throw your vote away on some garbage like Jill
exactly.
Stein. And here's the other problem. Kennedy,
And
Robert F.
Kennedy.
Kennedy. And that fucker's going to take votes, from Biden people, from
And
swing votes.
that's the point I'm trying to make, is that if we can all come together and just decide on one thing, we'll win every election every time, hands down.
Right.
The nut jobs don't have enough to compete. They don't have enough people, right? The conspiracists, the right wing, the extreme right wing, the Tea Party, or whoever else, and the Marjorie Greens and whoever you want to throw out there, they don't have enough. They make a lot of noise though, right? It's like 10 people with a bunch of cow horns. They make a lot of noise.
Right. You should
But we
stop
over here,
giving
we
him
got
so much
100
attention.
people who are like, well, I don't know if he's a little old now. I'm like, I don't give a shit. He can be old as long as he's not racist and fucking, trying to
Un-American.
un-American. If he wants to follow the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and try to do what's right for his country and be old, cool.
And he's 3 years older. What the fuck? They're both old as fuck, you people.
Both old. They're both old. And one is a fucking a proven racist. We've already seen what he's done to this country as far as like how he divides us along racial lines. Oh,
That's still happening.
Hold up though. We have to you know who we got to get on the show? We got to get Reese Waters.
Barack Obama.
We got to get Reese Waters. Shout out to Reese Waters. My man, he's so smart. He's so intelligent. He has such an amazing way of breaking down ideas and information, right? And Reese, for the audience, Reese he's a friend of ours that goes way back. He used to be a comic here in San Francisco, and he left and went back east. He's a Columbia graduate, extremely talented, extremely smart. He was on ESPN for a while, then he was on another network, and then he's transitioned a lot of different places, but he has a tremendous view and take and ability to explain and express ideas and what's happening in the world that I'm like, yo, we got to bring Reese to the table and just sit back and listen.
Hit him up.
I will.
Reese
I'll
is
hit
good
him
people.
up. I did his podcast years ago, and it was a great time, man.
He did mine years ago. It was just me and him one time.
Yeah.
He was really cool.
He's really cool. I did his he was in San Francisco. He had a hotel. He was out here doing some work, and I went over to the hotel and we did the whole thing, man. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
All right, here we go. So when I was in Jersey, I met this old comic. You probably saw this picture.
You and Conrad Roth.
There he is, Davey.
He looks so different. It's hard to see him with the hat. And the
he's hiding a little. When I first saw him, I was coming up, and he has his long hair still got his good hair, but he had this big one white long streak. And I went up and I was like, "Oh, who are you, Rogue from the X-Men?"
Yeah, that's funny. I'm like, he looks like he's in disguise.
Yeah,
Is he still doing
he's
comedy?
Yeah, he does it here and there. He's got into gambling a lot, but he wins. Like, he does really well in gambling. Like, here's the thing. Conrad's like a math guy, an engineer, and he's very into like numbers.
Okay.
And during the pandemic, he just really studied a lot of this stuff, right? And he'll do shit. So we were watching the Cavs. They got their ass kicked by Orlando in game 3, right?
Right.
But or I'm sorry, game 4. But what Conrad does, he only bets the Cavs will win the first quarter. Okay. And then he makes a killing on it, right? And then they win the first quarter. He said he made thousands of dollars on Caitlin Clark because everybody thought Caitlin Clark is, she's the best, right? But everybody picks the over, that she'll get over 30 points in a game during the tournament. And he's like, women never get over 30 points, even the best one. So he bet the under every time. And Caitlin Clark only got over 30, I think, like one game.
One time.
So he made all his fucking money because he just goes with, he bets with the odds. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's like, I mean, he kept saying, he's like, I never lose, Sal. I never lose. He's
Well,
like, I won
in that
$300
case,
today at the Cavs game. And I was like, damn. So
all right, so I need to talk to Conrad because I'm like, yo, whatever you're doing, I'm not a gambler and I don't want to take the time to like do the research and figure out what the habits are and the chances are and what they've done historically. But if somebody else has done that and they can be like, yo, man, I win 9 out of 10 times. All right, I'll throw $20 that way.
It's
like,
crazy. Like the way it's like we were watching the end of the game and he's like, he didn't need this. He takes the under on the team. Like a whole, you can bet on the bench players, everybody, dude. And he said he's been kicked off apps for winning too much.
No way. Wow.
Dude. And now, like, he doesn't bet like huge chunks. And he has a very good point. He's like, everybody goes, hey, I want this big super thing to happen. That's what I'm going to bet. You know what I mean? And instead of like going with the more logical thing, so you do smaller bets or you diversify it across, you know what I mean? And
hey, look,
it's
you can either go, big and try to win big, or you can go small and just keep winning a lot. Right.
And that's his strategy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down with that. Right. Like, cause what was it? I was listening to Charles Barkley, who's on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast. And he was talking about how he one time lost 25 million and won 7 million. Right.
Wow.
And it basically came out that the joy of winning, I'll put it like this, the joy of winning $100 for me personally does not exceed the pain of losing $50 for me. Right? Like how bad I feel losing $50 cannot be overcome by the joy of winning $100. That's why I don't gamble. Right. Because the joy is not equal for me. Like the pain is way stronger than whatever the joy is for gambling. And that's why I don't gamble. I'm like, yo, I work too hard for mine to take a chance.
Yeah.
So
you got to be willing to lose what you gamble.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if any gambler is, I mean, the amount of money that they lose. Look, man, you go to Vegas, those lights are on 24 hours a day. They don't turn those lights off. There's not a point where you ever
They're taking somebody's money.
They taking somebody's money. The house wins. Those lights stay on. They got people working around the clock. Somebody's getting paid all the time. Believe me, you're not winning. When you look at the amount of money you spend and the amount of money you win, it is not equal. You are not breaking even. Right?
No.
You're not breaking even unless you're smart enough to like get up by a few hundred and be like, all right, I'm out. Let's go eat. Let's go do a thing. Right. So
all
Charles,
right. So here comes Anthony POORdain. We need some music for this, Reg. What do we got?
I got nothing, bro.
Okay, so and I love this because sometimes you just gotta eat what you can. Not every place has everything you want. So and I ate at the club, great food at the club all the time. So first off here, I had this with Conrad because I already ate that day. You know what's good about New York is the bagels, dude. So I had a great hummus and veggie bagel. So good. All right. So when I'm with him, we're at this place, Tavern on George. Look at the size of this pretzel. I got myself a big old pretzel.
Okay.
And it's so big, they had to put it on a hook. It's on like a meat hook.
All right, so I got to ask you a question about this, but go ahead. I'll let you say your thing.
Well, that's about it. And then I had that beer, and I watched the Cavs get their ass kicked. I didn't have the cheese because I can't have cheese, so I only dipped in the mustard.
Okay, so let's first examine the photo. I'm liking the fact that you put the beer in the middle, right? That was done.
You like that? I took that. I did that.
I do. Hold on, bring the picture back
Oh,
up.
my
Let's
bad.
analyze the photo.
Okay, you're
All
right.
right.
I just
Um,
gotta in editing. I'll have to change it. Okay.
okay. So I like the fact that you got the beer in the middle of the photo. That's a great look. My only issue with this one is off-centered. Half of the portions of the pretzel are off the screen.
Right.
Like,
Well, look, man, this ain't a photography class. I just try to take it quick. I'm not gonna sit there like an idiot
I'm
in this
just saying,
bar and do
if
it.
you're gonna take the time to put the beer in the middle, then at least take the time to make sure we can see the whole pretzel, right? And the other question is, these pretzels, I know like the first couple bites are usually pretty good because they're warm and it's soft and doughy. But by the time you get to like that seventh or eighth bite, it starts to get cold and hard. Like, did this one get like rock
No,
hard?
no, no. This,
Okay.
this, come on, Reg. This is a classy place. This is a
Okay.
professional. You know what's I love big pretzels, but I hate bad big pretzels. And like, you know where I will not get pretzels anymore?
Ball
Fucking movie
games.
theaters.
So what?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
movie theater.
Yeah.
Terrible. Then they're
They're the
usually
worst.
just in the fucking. Those ones get hard. They're garbage. Disgusto.
You chip a tooth eating
Okay,
those
so
things.
I should have had the breakfast. I had bagel. And it's this place called Bagel Nosh in Delhi.
Okay. Okay.
Really nice people. That's what I like about New York. The small little shops. You just walk in anywhere. They have everything. Sandwiches, food. But I wanted breakfast the first morning, right?
Okay.
And I didn't want just a bagel. I wanted it all. There's nowhere in walking distance for a real breakfast place. So I went to Bagel and Nosh the first day. Okay.
Right.
So here, and then I made my own. They're like, I'm like, no, I want pancakes and eggs. I don't want that omelet. I want bananas on it. Oh, I'll take the sausage patty. Fine, just give it to all. So give me this combo.
Okay.
Here it is. I knew you would love it with the plasticware, the paper plate, and those little syrup containers.
Oh my God. This is definitely Anthony POORdain. This is this is definitely for the person who's on a budget, right? Like, he was showing us
Yeah,
all
I'll
the
go back.
extravagant locations to eat food, and you're showing us
Yeah.
all the affordable locations to eat food.
Yeah, I will say it was cheap. It was a good deal. I got all this food for like $12, which
Oh
if I only
wow.
got one meal, it would have been like $6 for the breakfast. But since I combined breakfast is
Right.
all right. So here's the thing.
And
Pancakes, it's hard to fuck up pancakes and sausage, and that's good.
I agree. I agree. Even the syrup in the little packages.
Yeah, it's still good. I'll say the eggs, hella overcooked, dog.
Okay. Yeah.
This shit, like, look, maybe I can zoom in on it. But yeah, man, look how brown and shit. Like,
Yeah. No, there's nothing about this that's this. I feel like this is what they serve prisoners, right? Like, I mean, and no, hey, shout out to prisoners if you're getting pancakes, eggs, and sausage with banana and pancakes with bananas, shout out to you. But this is not. I'll put it like
I'll
this:
say,
if this was on the picture, like how like I feel like there would be pictures of the food on the menu, right? Like this is not where there's no
and hey,
pictures.
look, no disrespect. I like bagel and nosh. That bagel was one of the best I ever had. It was so good, I didn't even take time to take the picture. I just ate that shit on the walk. It was
Okay,
so
there you
good.
go. Okay.
And I was taking pictures and stuff. But yeah, this I'll say this: the plasticware, the tiny fork and knife on a paper plate trying to cut pancakes and it totally ruins it. It's not as good. You know what I mean? I don't know why.
All right, listen, Anthony POORdain or Sal POORdain. I think going forward, you need to bring your own knife and fork with you. Like that should be a part of this whole thing is bringing real utensils to these meals, because the fact
That's
that you're up here
funny,
trying to,
dude.
and look at that fork. I mean, look at that knife.
Oh, it was
Look how much
tiny. They were small.
it
They were
was.
like the
Oh
cheapest
man,
ones. That's what
yeah,
I
the
hated.
cheapest ones. And there's
Yeah.
nothing about this meal that says any of that stuff is organic. The
Oh,
eggs are
come
not
on,
organic.
Reg. No, they don't do that shit. All
That's
right,
only in
so and
California.
then here's my final one I have. And this was my first meal when I got there. And this
Okay.
was the best. And I don't know if it's in my genetics or what, but it's just the basic Jersey sub with a sweet roll, bread roll. You got the meats, tomatoes, the shredded lettuce, and you got that Italian dressing over it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's
Okay.
beautiful.
All right.
I mean, I
Okay.
know this picture kind of sucks. It's huge, and it's got the little ham and salami
Yeah.
hanging out.
All right,
But I want
so
to tell you, bro, it was
okay.
so good.
All right, so with this picture, this looks like I've had those sandwiches before. This sandwich looks really good. Like I would enjoy eating this sandwich.
I saved half in my fridge for the next day. So
Oh, but
worth
then the
it.
bread's gonna be all soggy from the.
It wasn't too bad. And I turned it
Okay,
upside down so the bottom sog part could get on the thicker part.
okay, all right, there you go.
But you're right, it
Only
can get a little soggy.
it can get a little soggy. Only thing I would have liked in this situation is if you take the sandwich and instead of just giving us the aerial view, give us like that little side view where we can see the
Yeah, you're right.
edges, like opening
I
it
wanted
up
to
for
show the
us.
length, but then it's all sitting in a foil like a baby bread dough. It was weird,
Yeah,
but
and also in this
it's
photo,
good.
we got one of the ends cut off. Like one of the ends cut off. You got to get the whole thing in the picture, Sal. It's like taking a picture of you and then
But
having like missing half of like missing your ear.
yeah, but I wanted that's funny. I wanted both though. I wanted to get the detail and the size instead of taking two shots, and that's where I paid the price.
You're gonna need to take a photo class
Oh, let me
going
tell you,
forward.
look, and let me. Anthony POORdain recommends the Filippo's Famous Pizza. That's where I walked in and got this
Okay.
because it was right next to the hotel.
And this is what city is this again?
This is New Brunswick, New Jersey. It's right there outside of Rutgers University.
Okay. So everybody who's on a budget, who's looking for an affordable meal that's it's not gonna blow your mind, but it will fill your belly. Go to Filippo's Pizzeria.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Okay,
good, good
Filippo's
stuff.
Pizzeria. So
Um,
maybe that's where we make our money, bro. It's like we we
oh
get to
yeah, we could
advertise.
promote like Bagel and Nosh should be like, you kind of shit
Yeah,
on our plasticware, but we appreciate you like our bagels.
that's what I'm saying. We can promote like the mediocre places, bro. Like
All
it's like, are you
right,
looking
so
like you don't have a refined palate? That's great. Sal got a plethora of places for you.
I got one more picture to show you because
Okay.
you just insulted me saying about taking a camera picture class. Look, Reg, this is shit on my phone, but look at this picture I took so what I like. I got this nice camera. I film our sets. I let drunk bitches get up into them and tell me I suck. And then but I also during the day go out and take pictures when I
Okay.
can of where
Of flowers.
ever I'm at.
Of flowers.
Of flowers or wildlife, Reg. And look at this
Right.
wildlife.
Okay, let's
Look at
see.
this big old bee I got
Oh yeah, look at
sitting
that.
there. Look at
Okay.
that, huh?
Yeah,
Beautiful, beautiful, big old bee.
it's all right. It's
Pretty.
all right.
It's all right.
It's all right.
You can see the fur on the motherfucker.
That's true. That
You
is
can see
true.
his dandruff. It's
You can
that
see
good.
you can see the pollen he's collected on his legs too. You know,
Oh
he
yeah,
has a
yeah.
little
You know
pollen
what's
pack.
another one? I have another one. I don't have it on here, but you could see the thing coming out his nose, his proboscis,
Oh, I remember
where
you
he's
used to
about
have
to
a
go
joke
suck
about
that
that.
flower. It was a
Yeah.
big ass bee. It didn't come at near me. But all right, so
Okay.
yeah, that was it, dude. That was Jersey. Uh, it was fine. People were nice sometimes.
What
No,
about the
people were
shows
cool.
overall? Aside from the
They're
lady.
good. I get like, it's got that energy to it, but it's a great smaller room. David Tell recorded one of his specials there.
Okay.
And it's a good intimate like room. And yeah, man, some of the crowds are really awesome, man. And then yeah.
Was this a theater? This theater show
No, no,
or
comedy club, comedy club.
what was the name of the comedy club?
It's called what okay, Stress Factory
Stress
in New
Factory
Jersey.
in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Yes, sir.
Okay, shout out to the Stress Factory for having my man Sal and Tim Meadows.
Oh, this week, I'll be going to the very exotic city of Buffalo.
Oh shit. Dude,
And
this is oh
there
go
should
ahead,
be
go
some
ahead.
good food ones because, well, here's the thing with traveling across the country where you got to be there. You got to make the show, right?
Right,
The
right.
man's relying on me. I got to make the show. So a lot of times I've been taking red eyes, which I don't mind actually, because I'm not going to sleep well anyway if I
Right,
got to leave early in the morning anyway.
right.
And so a lot of times there's layovers, so you definitely don't want a layover day of. So Buffalo, there was one fucking flight that was direct and it was at 11:30 at night before. And I'm like, okay. But then I'm on get there like by 7:30 and I can't check in early check-in. The earliest to let you
Oh,
check in
that's
is
right.
noon. So I'm gonna have
Yeah.
like 5 hours to kill. So look out, the food's gonna be coming.
Oh boy.
Where am I
I
gonna get breakfast that day?
Oh man, I have been there. I haven't been there as often as you have, but I have been there. You get there early and you ain't shit you could do. You just walk around the
Yeah.
city with your bags, right?
Yeah.
Trying
Well,
to
the
find
one they let me, I did it a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
I
they'll
don't
let you leave it at the
remember
hotel.
where we yeah, let me leave it there. Then I went for
Yeah.
breakfast, then I came back. But this one, I'm gonna be hella early, and I don't know what to expect. But
Buffalo. I hope it's not. What is this?
whatever.
This is May now. Okay, so you'll be good. At least the weather would be a little bit better. Yo,
Yeah, I
Buffalo,
gotta
man,
look
you can
that
go to
up.
Niagara Falls. Did you
Not
go to Niagara?
bad.
Oh,
I've
you've
been
been?
there. I went with
Okay.
Des. It was awesome. You go in there, check it. I was there for New Year's Eve, and the band Styx was playing the New Year's Eve show. We went and watched a little
STIX.
STYX. You
Oh,
ever remember that? Come
STYX.
sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me, you guys. Anyway,
I don't
uh,
know them at all.
it's some weird 70s, but that's like their only song I knew. But anyway, we couldn't even stay. I didn't want to stay and wait for that song because it was so fucking cold. Midnight already hit. We're like, all right, good. Let's get out of here. I don't care to watch Sticks outside in January in
Uh,
Canada.
oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
too much.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah. So,
All right.
Thursday and Friday, I'll be in Buffalo.
Okay.
And, yeah, then I'm doing Oklahoma City end of the month. It's one day. Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
why. Yeah, I'm only doing the OKC, so I'm flying in. I'm there like less than 24 hours. I fly in, I check
dude,
in, I'm gonna do my thing, do 2 shows, and then fly the fuck back.
you should check out OKC. I hear it's actually a pretty cool
Eh,
city.
eh,
Eh,
but where
okay.
am I gonna stay? Then I gotta get a hotel if I really want to.
Oh
I don't know
wow. So
anyone
wait.
there. It's only a 3-hour flight.
Okay. All right. Yo, man, I think like this is really impressive, right? For as long as I've known you, for as long as you've been doing comedy and stand up and entertaining and even writing sketches and filming stuff, right? Like this is a really cool opportunity. I know that, there are other aspects of it that aren't necessarily the best, but
Right.
dude, looking at the map of the country and what we've always kind of strived for as comedians and what the goal was, right? Like
Yeah.
you always wanted to get on the road. You wanted to work with someone who could take you places that you get along with and you have a good time and see different
Yeah.
cities. Dude, you're literally living that right now. I mean,
Yeah.
look, you just talked about New Brunswick, New Jersey, and then you can talk about Buffalo, New York to OKC.
Yeah.
You've been to Wisconsin and
Places
Minnesota,
I haven't been, which is cool. And
places
then
you
you meet
haven't
cool
been.
people everywhere. No,
Dude,
you're
you've been
right.
to
And like I will say, like, I mean, this is the tightest I've ever been. Like I'll you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I need to get more material and so I could get that hour tight like it. Like
Right.
you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
want like, but yeah, this is the best I feel as a comic, like spitting shit out now. And I've seen stuff grow and I've talked things and
Right.
now I'm making it applause breaks. So it's cool to see. Now, a lot of sometimes you got to battle more with conservative, but then when we do a more liberal thing, like they fucking love me, right?
Right.
So, but that's kind of part of it that I could get them still, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
it helps you, right? Tim is cool as fuck. Tim is, he's a great dude. And like, well, I'll say this, like Jersey, the guy who owns it, good guy named Vinny. His name's on the sign and everything. And
Benny, the
he
Stress
owns the
Factory, the
place.
Stress
He
Club.
also does comedy, but he likes to bust balls.
Oh
So he
boy.
comes in the green room busting balls, and he said something to the opener about getting the announcements right. So that wasn't ball busting, that was real, right?
Right.
So then he came to me and he goes, you swear? He goes, who's the middle? I'm like, I'm middle. And he goes, you swear? I'm like, well, sometimes those can't swear. No swearing. And I'm like, all right. And he goes, he's like, what do you talk about? I'm like, my life. He's like, be more specific. And then Tim like stood up. And Tim goes, hey man, what are you gonna make him do his act and stuff? No, dude, he can't be doing that. And then the guy's like, oh, I'm just joking. I'm just funny. You say whatever the fuck you want. And it was just like this whole level. But Tim was like, I was gonna kick him out. Because he was like, you're not gonna disrespect, you know
You're
what
not
I
gonna
mean?
come in
And
here and
like,
intimidate my guy.
no, yeah. So I love that dude for that. Like that dude, because Tim don't give a fuck. He's been through it all. He's been through it. So he's not gonna let, you know what I mean?
Dude,
It's not gonna affect him.
Hey man, he's what was his role in the movie? The lover, what was it called?
The ladies' man.
The late I'm the ladies man, right? This dude has had movies, like he's starting his own movies.
Yeah,
He's
he's
been
done
on
it. Yeah, and
television.
he's
Yeah,
been doing it for like 30 years still. So he's
exactly.
like
So
seen it all.
I love the fact that he was standing up for you, man. Way to go.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I was
Shout
like,
out to
oh, because
Tim.
like Tim, you know, he can be kind of quiet, but when it comes, you're like, my man. So that was kind
Right.
of funny.
That's
And
good. He's got your back. I love that.
yeah, yeah. So it was a good yeah, it was cool. It was a cool experience. And yeah, we'll see what Buffalo has to offer, buddy.
All right. Well, I think that man, you should keep a journal. I think you should keep a journal of all these locations, all these clubs, all the managers, the owners, everybody you've met, because
Yeah, I
at
do
some
have a
point,
lot of it. Yeah, I got a lot of it down.
yeah, you should keep a journal, because then it could be at some point it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be food for the book, or for the memoir, or the whatever it is, your travels, your experiences, places you've eaten, the people you've experienced, the clubs that are no longer there. Because we've already seen it in our time, clubs that were really popping and popular and like thriving, and then they're closed and they're gone. Right.
Right, right.
Right. And
No, it
so
happens a lot.
it
And I
happens a
mean, I'll
lot.
say once again, all you San Francisco comics, appreciate the punchline, man. And that is a very professionally run place. And
They do it right.
it's yeah, they do it right, man. And here's another thing: when you police as much as they do in these clubs, people know them when they come back. So it already has kind of like that rep of,
Hmm.
yo, man,
Yeah.
keep your shit in line.
Yeah.
And so I've definitely like, you know, a lot of, because you know, it's some clubs yeah, it's just
Well,
like even finding people to work the local scene and stuff. They
right.
do a really good job in San Francisco to, you know,
Yeah,
get
to
the good
cultivate the
comics.
talent, right? To
That's a good way
nurture,
of saying it.
yeah,
Yeah.
cultivate and nourish the talent, right? Raise the talent. They also do a really good job, and this is what you're really saying, is they do a really good job of providing a safe space for a quality show, but also they protect the comedians, right?
Hmm.
It's like, yo, you coming in to do your thing, we're gonna provide an environment for you to do that, because they're paying people a lot of money. So,
Right.
and people are paying a lot of money to see these shows. So it's like, yo, we're going to create an environment where you can actually come in, feel safe, and hopefully have a good audience that's attentive and listening and respectful.
Yeah, well,
So,
this has come up at a few shows, and we ask like, why would people? And this happens. People do this. They come as a group to a comedy club. They sit at a table. They order a bunch of food, and then they just talk. Like I'm like, why don't you just do that shit at home?
or
Like you
no,
don't
no,
need
go
to
to a
get
bar. Just go
yeah,
to a
you don't
regular
need to
bar.
get club food, which is usually not that great. Spend all this money on tickets and food, and then just fucking talk.
Right. Right.
And the worst is, and this happens constantly, the other people. You know what I mean? You see it.
yes.
You're affecting everyone around you.
Yes. It's so annoying, man. They have no clue. It's like, look, if it's a company function, you got a lot of people coming together and you guys want to socialize, then take your ass to a bar, take your ass to a lounge, take your ass to a speakeasy, go somewhere else where you can stand around and chit chat and drink and do the whole thing, but don't come to a fucking comedy club. It's the same thing. Like, that's why I used to hate doing the corporate gigs, some of the
Yeah.
corporate gigs, right?
Hmm.
Because in the
Same
evenings, it's like,
idea.
oh, it's like their social hour, but it's a
Right.
comedy show. It's like, yo,
Right.
I have no desire to stand here and want to talk to people that need to be listening while they're also in the back talking to each other as if I'm not a band, right? Like,
Right.
and it's got to suck for bands too, right? Or it's not even if you had easy listening music or jazz where somebody's sitting there like,
Right.
okay,
Right.
like it's background shit. But this is not that. Comedy is not
Music's
that.
so much easier.
So much easier. So,
Hey, I
so
got
for
some. Oh,
okay.
go ahead. I got a funny thing to tell you though,
All right.
because it's a racial thing. So this, I forgot about this. So
Oh
I
boy,
don't
here
know.
we go.
Fort Wayne is like a pretty black population of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay.
And we did Indianapolis, and it was the one of the whitest places I've ever been. So I just expected Fort Wayne to be that. And it's funny, the early shows mostly white, late shows a lot more black. And so I told Tim this old joke I did about my uncle, okay, in the green room. And the old joke is you know, it was about my father. And I was like, and my father called me like, oh, your uncle's in the paper. You should look it up. Oh, I'm like, oh, so I looked it up. My
Oh,
uncle
I kind
back
of
in
remember this one.
Cleveland was in the paper because his business was ripping off minorities. And I was like,
Mm.
Dad, that's no good. That means my uncle's a racist. And my dad goes, yeah, well, I don't see you on TV. So I tell a joke. Tim laughs out loud, right? I was like, oh, this, I feel encouraged. I'm like, you know, I haven't done this joke. I don't have a good video footage. I'm gonna do this joke at
Right.
this last show on in Fort Wayne. So I go there and there was a black table right up front, like 8 people ordering the
Was it a black
food,
table or was it a table
talking.
with black people?
Oh, good point. There was a black table with black people at it. I was talking
Okay.
about
Oh,
the
so the table was
structure of
actually
the
black
table.
too.
The table
Okay.
was a nice painted job. And ah, so and it was funny too. These people later during Tim's set, they were ordering food to go.
No
That's
way.
so they ate food there, and then they were still disrupted. He's like, "What's going on?" They're like, "We're getting food to go."
Oh, wow. That's some black people shit.
So, but there was one. It was more like middle age, and this one woman, black woman, and I okay, and I, you know, and I even told Tim after this, it's my fault. I did this joke way too early in my set.
You didn't establish yourself first. They didn't know you.
No, you gotta get people to dig it, and you know, and I've been, you know, been doing it so long. I'm just like everything does well. Nothing can stop me.
Right,
I'll do
right.
this. And you know, when it comes to race, religion, politics, you usually got to push it back a little, let them know you a little.
Yeah.
And nobody
Yeah.
knows me, so I definitely have to do that. And then we're also at the point where if you say any one word, people are like, boom, oh, he said something about
Right. They
gay,
get
he must be
triggered.
homophobe. Yeah.
Right.
So I said that joke, and this middle-aged black woman was just like, he's not funny. And then like
Oh, wow. She said that out loud where you can
oh,
hear
to
her?
her friend, and I was like, "What's that, ma'am?" And then she shut up. But then the whole rest of my set, which was like another, you know, 20 minutes, she
Oh,
wasn't gonna laugh at shit. And then the whole table's infected. It's all right up front. And I'm
right.
like, oh boy, y'all made me work. And I've mentioned it throughout sometimes too. It was definitely like that was funny, man. I was like,
So
okay, I remember
I
this.
think, all right. So what I think you got to do in that situation is when that happens, right? And you realize that they had an adverse reaction to one of your jokes, right? And they're sitting there now, like they're deliberately like not trying to laugh because they want to be mad,
Right,
right?
right.
Got their nose all turned up like something stank, right? And then you get them like as you go on with your show and things happen, and then they crack a smile or they go like this, they go
Right,
like
right.
they kind of laugh. Then that's the perfect time because I did that in DC. That's the perfect time to be like, yo, just real quick. This table of people right here, this table of women or black people, they hated me, right? Like I did a joke earlier in the show. I don't know if you guys remember where I was talking about my uncle being racist, and I tell my dad that that's not cool, and my dad's like, "Well, you're not on TV," because in his mind, whatever. They decided that I was the worst, and so they've been sitting here the whole time like this. No, we're not gonna laugh until just a few minutes ago where I did whatever, and they go, no, right? Because if you call them out on it, right? Like you call
Right,
them out on it, you let them know, like, I see you, right? And I understand what
right.
it is, but you ain't got to be mad at me about that one thing because I'm still
It's
funny.
so crazy. Yeah,
It's
it's
so crazy.
and there's another problem. People miss like the nuance when it's not a very when they don't just have people shut up and listen to your stuff. You know what I mean? Like they miss the art of it, I feel.
Right. Well,
And yeah,
they hear one part that they don't like and then they
right,
stop listening. Right.
right.
Like I remember I was in DC with Ian and we're at the DC Improv. And I forget what joke I did, but I did a joke where there's these two black women sitting up front. And it was the same thing. I did the joke and they decided that they didn't like me at that point. Right. And it was like, it was okay. It was fine because I had great sets. I was killing it. Right. Um, but the whole show after that set, after that moment, they literally were just like,
Yeah, that's
whatever,
it. You
whatever.
can't win them back.
Right. And so as I got close to the end, I got into whatever material and I started talking about Alabama. You remember that stuff, my mom and whatever else, and uncles and relatives, and the way they're talking and food and blah, blah, blah. And they came around and they started laughing. So before the end of my set, I was like, these two women up here, they hated me, right? Until a few minutes ago. Then they started laughing, but then they try to get it back. And I go like this. They was up here like, you know what? I mean, he funny, but I ain't gonna laugh. I'm just gonna wait till I get in the car and then I'll laugh, right? I ain't gonna let him see me laugh. And so I started imitating them in front of them, and the place is cracking up. And then they started laughing. Cool. And I said, and even now they try not to laugh, but they laughing. They like, whatever. I ain't gonna right. And so, and then
I mean, that only.
And then what made it great was that, and I ended the set and it was fine. They were okay. And they came up afterwards. They're like, yeah, no, you're funny, whatever. But when I walked off, Ian came on and Ian was like, so where are the ladies that hate Reggie?
That's funny.
Right. And that was the whole thing. So go ahead.
I was going to say that only works, Reg, is if they pay attention to you a little eventually later instead of ordering more food to go.
Like once they got mad, they were like, that's it. Because black people will write your ass off immediately.
Right away. It was right away.
It was right away.
And that was a funny thing too. There were other black people in the crowd. There's a guy I remember right in front, and he was laughing and trying to help me, give him a lot of great facial expressions. And like he did, but he knew it was almost like he knew what I would say and he knew how they might react. So then he was like, oh, how's it was like, yeah. All right, Reg, wrap us up, dude. We going long today.
Yeah, we're going long today. All right. Man, we've been on hiatus for a couple of weeks because Sal been out there chasing that dollar bill.
And I'm gone next week too. Maybe we could whatever.
Okay, we'll figure it out. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have, please do us a favor and subscribe. That's the best thing you can do for us is just subscribe. Even if you don't watch it, just subscribe.
Just hit the button.
Subscribe, like, and share. We're going to keep doing it. We love doing it, obviously. Hopefully you enjoy it. And with that being said, that's Sal Kalani. I'm Reggie Steele. And this is Spitballin. Peace.